Hey, welcome to the Boot Hill Sports Network. I'll take the over podcast. This is Mark Manley. That is I Let Doug Win, Johnny Grissom. That is the on and only Doug Edwards. And this is Doug's Inspiration, JB. What's up, fellas?
What's
Roll
up, guys?
Tide, baby.
Hey, Doug, welcome back from Florida, brother. I hope you had a good trip.
Hey, we had a blast. Thank you.
Good, good. Oh, hell.
Dog fight.
Dougie went to Disney World, didn't you, Dougie?
We went to Disney World, went to the beach. Man, I got a sunburn and everything. It was nice
Nice.
down there.
Nice.
Nice,
80,
nice, nice.
84 degrees and humid. I loved it.
Hey, a lot's happened this past week in college football. Before we get to the news and talk about that, hey, last week's picks. Looks like JB once again led the pack. He had a total of 15 points. Dougie come in second. He also had, well, I guess it would be Cole first. He had
That's
15
Cole,
points
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Now, yeah, he wants his credit. You know he does.
I was top of the heat last week.
I came in third, and we have a new crybaby face winner. Johnny Grissom with the crybaby face. I can't pick. Oh, buddy. Ah! But hey, Johnny, I got to wear it. I'm still in last place for the year, buddy.
It's all
So we'll
good,
share
brother.
it tonight,
It's all
man.
good.
All right. Hey, we're going to talk about the top 25, the new one. And I guess will what be the next to the last poll of the year. Number 25 is Kansas State. Kansas State will play in the bowl game against North Carolina State. Kansas State is 8-4. Number 24 is 11-2 SMU, who a lot thought should have got that, I guess, non-power conference New Year's 6 game,
Yeah.
but they did not. They're going to play on December the 28th against Boston College. Number 23 is the team who did get that New Year's 6 bowl, is Liberty at 13-0, and they're going to face the Oregon Ducks on January 1. Number 22 is Clemson at 8-4. Their next game will be on Friday, December the 29th, the bowl game against the Kentucky Wildcats. Number 21 is the Tennessee Vols at 8-4. They're going to play on January 1 against that powerful Big Ten team called the Iowa Hawkeyes. And January 1 at 1 o'clock is that game. Oklahoma State Sooners, who took a ass whooping in the Big 12 championship game against Texas. They're at 9-4, number 20 in the nation. They're going to play A&M on December 27th in their bowl game. Number 19 is the Oregon State Beavers. We all love a good Beaver. They're 8-4. Number 18 is North Carolina State at 9-3. Those Iowa Hawkeyes at 10-3 are number 17. Notre Dame is number 16 at 9-3. And Louisville, who struggled badly against Florida State, looked terrible at times. They're 10-3 on the year, number 15. Number 14 is the Arizona Wildcats at 9-3. They're going to play Oklahoma in the bowl game. Doug's LSU Tigers coming in at number 13 at 9-3. And they're going to play Wisconsin. Oklahoma's at 12 at 10-2. Ole Miss Rebels at number 11 at 10-2. Penn State Nittany Lions, Josh's team, at number 10 at 9-2. And those Missouri Tigers, MIC, baby,
The
at
OU.
10-2. At number 9, Oregon Ducks at number 8 at 11-2. Number 7 is the Ohio State Buckeyes at 11-1. And, of course, they will play Mizzou in the Cotton Bowl on the 29th of December. And Georgia Bulldogs at number 6 at 12-1. And, guys, this is probably going to open up our discussion. How do you fall from number 1 in the nation to number 6 at 12-1?
Exactly. By losing a 3-point game on a neutral field
Yeah.
all year.
I mean, the facts are is that's exactly what happened, and then once the committee got their hands on it and they started discussing it, they started getting screwed, and even more reason why Florida State got screwed. If you knew Georgia wasn't going to be in that top four, ain't going to be no way Florida State was going to be there, and it's bullshit all around.
Yep. If Florida State's so bad with their backup quarterback, why not go on and drop them around the 8, 9, 10 mark? They're not better than Georgia. Be consistent.
Right?
Hey, consistency is not what they're been about. I mean, like I
Now,
said all along, this thing was messed up anyway. You got 5 power conferences, and only 4 playoff spots, so they had this wrong from the get go, from day one.
they've talked
Uh,
about the side of their mouth, both sides of their mouths all year.
yeah. So Georgia also became the first team to move out of the top 4 when they were the number 1 seed going into the final weekend. Florida State at 13-0 was number 5. Florida State getting shafted, so to speak, out of the top 4. Alabama in at number 4 at 12-1. Texas at number 3 at 12-1. The Big 12 champs. Of course, Alabama, the SEC champs. Number 2 team is the Washington Huskies. They will be the final Pac-12 champs, guys, at 13-0. And they're going to. Michigan Wolverines is the new number 1 team at 13-0. Now, let's get into this final 4, guys. Florida State got left out at 13-0. Let's discuss that a little bit. What are your thoughts on that, Doug?
I I just can't believe it. Really, you just win the games. Do the games matter? I'd like to see the NFL go to a committee to decide their playoff teams. Well, we think that Philadelphia Eagles ain't so good because Carson Wentz got hurt, and they're gonna have Nick Foles now. They can't win a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. Oh wait, they did. Well, Washington Redskins, we're sorry, we're not gonna let you compete because now you got Doug Williams as your quarterback. You can't win with Doug Williams as. Oh wait, they did. Florida
Hmm.
State, Alabama, and Texas. What this was is Alabama and Texas were a package deal. Now, if Alabama would have lost to Auburn like they should have,
Go ahead,
I'm
Doug.
going to
Tell them.
guarantee you they would have slid Georgia to 4 and still screwed Florida State. Florida
Yep.
State won their championship conference game by 10 points, double digits, but it
Hmm.
wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty to watch. That's not
Hmm.
what everybody wants to see. So ESPN, the TV people, they're paying hundreds of millions, up to billions of dollars for these rights. The committee, I don't blame them so much as the people backing them that forced their hand. Is what it was. Their hand was forced. And with all the talk, they've been overvaluing Oregon all year and still are. Oregon's no New Year's Six bowl. They've won one game, beat Oregon State all year. That's it.
Hmm.
They were overvalued by Vegas, by the TV people, by ESPN. That's why they had an almost 10-point favorite on that game. But Florida State got screwed. You're in a Power Five conference. You go under. What do they say? Just win your games. Just win your game. Well, Florida State did. No, they didn't do what Alabama did. They didn't beat the number 1 team in the nation, but they did something else that Alabama didn't do either. They didn't lose. I don't know. I just don't understand. I mean, I know what it is. It's a good old boy
Well,
system. Now you take it. Florida State still had Bobby Bowden and was in their prime, and the exact same circumstances. He lost his quarterback, but they still won all their games. You think they'd have kept Bobby Bowden
Nope.
and that Florida State team out? Florida State's been down 5, 6 years. Norvell was on the hot seat just this year.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And they would have never kept Bobby Bowden out of the dadgum tournament.
Nope.
you got that right, man. All right, guys, we got our very first guest on I'll Take the Over podcast, and he is a Florida State fan. His name is Kenny Corley, and he's going to have a lot to say. Welcome, Kenny, to the show, guys. What's up, Kenny?
What's
What's
up,
up,
guys? How are
Kenny?
y'all tonight?
Okay.
Hey,
Hey,
good. Welcome,
real
man.
quick, Doug, I just got a text from Adam Schefter. Jacksonville has been eliminated from the playoffs because Trevor Lawrence is out.
Oh, I knew that was going to
Jeffy just
happen.
blew me up. I've got it right here.
The,
Jacksonville has been eliminated because Trevor Lawrence is
the,
out.
com-
Yep.
the committee has spoken. The committee
They have.
has
I mean,
spoken.
they're still getting it right. They're doing a good job.
That-
By the way, the Mark brought up the this was screwed up from the word go with Power 5 conferences in 4 spots. Mark, you're wrong. The Pac-12 always bails them out because they suck. So it's
Yeah,
4
you
for
got
4.
that right. Yeah.
Washington is an anomaly, but the Pac-12 sucks. That whole conference is overrated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now, if you ask me, Arizona's the best team in the Pac-12. I'll take anybody want to give me 2 touchdowns, and I'll take them against Washington all day long.
So Kenny, when this was announced, what was your first reaction? Like, when they
Go get the
said
fireball out of the
Alabama,
freezer.
well, I believe it. I believe it. But I mean, just to sit there and listen and then announce the 4 teams and number 4 pop up being Alabama, it just had to be a punch in the stomach. I mean, what more
A
can
little
Florida
lower.
State do? Yeah. I mean, what more can Florida State do? There's nothing they can do.
Obviously, you guys are historians of the game. I believe there was a team in 2014, the Ohio State Suckeyes.
Yep.
I believe they not only won games with a first string, a second string. Did they win a national title with a third string?
With
They
a
did.
with a guy named 12 Gauge.
Yeah,
Sure did.
just asking for a friend. That's amazing.
But that was Ohio State,
I get it. And here's the other thing I find ironic. We talk about money and TV, and they dictate it. There's this clown that sits on ESPN. His name is Greg McElroy, who makes the comment, you can't win a national title with mediocre quarterback play. That motherfucker has a ring. 55 yards in his national title game, guys. I looked it up.
Hey, they loved those game manager quarterbacks back then when Alabama had them. They
Yep.
loved them game managers. Oh, but Alabama's got the great defense. They don't make a mistake. Just don't make a mistake. That's all their quarterbacks have to do. Now all of a sudden it's a problem when you got a great defense and a team that ain't been beat. But it's not pretty to watch.
McElroy is the Trent Dilfer of Alabama.
No.
Hey, did I not make that compliment the other day? Comparison there, Kenny?
Yeah, you did. You told me
Did
we
you?
were talking on the phone.
Hey, Coker was another one they won a national championship with. He wasn't a very good quarterback, but he didn't make mistakes. He managed the game.
That's right. That's all you got to do.
Hey,
Just like
by the way,
Road
y'all, if y'all are going to gamble on the bowl games, first of all, nobody gives a shit about that 21st ranked team in East Tennessee. But take the under, because I was not going to score.
You got that right.
I just literally,
Hey,
and they
so
have
here-
their starting quarterback, don't they?
yes.
And they
Yeah.
still can't score. What the fuck's the difference?
Right. Maybe their defense will score for them. They can do that. But Sunday morning at 10:32, I talked to Mr. Kenny on the phone here, and his top 4 at 10:32 was Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Florida State.
Yes, sir.
And by 11:20,
I had
my
3
man
out of
is
4.
pissed off.
I had 3 out
My
of
man
4.
is pissed off and going off.
They were not going to leave the SEC out, and
Can't.
Texas and Alabama were a package deal because Texas beat Alabama.
Well,
Now,
fucking
I can see
ESPN owns
Alabama
the Longhorn Network and the
They want a rematch.
I
Yeah,
can see
that's
Texas,
what they
I
want.
can see Alabama
Rematch.
Texas being left out. I can see Alabama moving above Texas. I don't care about the matchup, the
Well,
head-to-head.
I think that's what ended up happening in the conversation with the committee is they came in right away and said, hey, we have to have an SEC team in this Final Four. And once they said that, they said, well, you can't put Georgia in because Bama won it. And as soon as they said that, somebody came in and said, well, you can't put Bama in if you don't put Texas in because
Exactly.
Texas already beat them. So right there, right away, there was your 4 teams, and it went back and forth. And that's when Georgia and Florida State got screwed, and that's
Yep.
the way it ended up.
It's
Well,
a package
at
deal,
about,
like I said.
7 o'clock Saturday night, I knew we were out.
Saturday, yeah.
I watched the game just because it's my boys. But at 7 o'clock, we were out, and I knew it.
Yeah.
Because ESPN and everybody, like y'all say, ESPN controls that shit. You can't have a playoff without an SEC team. Just can't do it.
hmm Now, what the college football committee went on and further did is, luckily, we're going to more teams next year. But what they end up doing is they gave more incentive for players not to play next year because what's the point? You're going to end up winning all your games, and it still won't matter.
But you're
Right.
still going to have 13, 14, and 15 bitching saying we should be one of the 12.
That's right.
It's never good. It's not perfect. It's never
No.
going to be perfect. But
It should, every spot should be earned by a qualifier. Anytime you got 13 guys behind locked, closed doors, secretly meeting, you're going to have some screw ups, and you're going to have some good old boy systems going every time.
I got some notes because I'm going back to Greg McElroy because he's just such a great commentator. He said we're a boring team, but I checked some stats.
Go for it.
We outgained Michigan Saturday. Total yards. They have their starting quarterback. Matter of fact, he was a Heisman candidate through about week 6.
And who did Michigan play again? I forgot.
That shitty Iowa team.
They scored touchdown.
The 17th ranked mighty Iowa Hawkeyes, by the way.
Which, by the way, I want to point out, I told you guys, Iowa put 76 yards up against my Penn State. You can't tell me Michigan is that much better than Penn State and did what they did against Iowa. I'm sorry, but that's facts. Go ahead, brother.
And then they talk about Alabama, their strength of schedule, and who they beat. They beat Georgia. I'll wait for the next team. Who's the next best team they beat?
LSU.
It's LSU.
LSU had the number 1 offense. They beat
right,
them.
but who beat LSU week 1?
Florida State.
Hey, who was the only 2 ranked teams to play in week 1? You talk about a weak schedule. Who came out of the gate playing another ranked team?
Hey,
Florida
did Jordan
State.
Travis get benched
Florida
at any point in the
State,
season?
LSU.
No.
That was the biggest matchup of week 1.
Jordan Travis ever get benched during the season?
No, he did not.
What's that little welfare kid's name? Judson
Monroe?
Milcrope? I don't give a damn. He got benched against South fucking Florida.
Yeah. Well,
But
let's go.
Hey, but it's total body of work. They barely beat Auburn, who New Mexico State.
4th
beat.
and 31.
Yes, they barely beat South Florida.
Right.
Lost
New Mex-
to Texas.
Mex-
It's total body of work. Total body of work. All year counts.
New Mexico State beat Auburn the week before Auburn had Alabama against the ropes. They had them in the corner. 6-6. It was
Ran
6-6.
and they ran back to Albuquerque with $1.65 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
But
they
it's-
they
but-
1.8.
they
Is that
paid
what it
New
was,
Mexico
Marty?
State to whoop their ass.
But Josh, we at the committee, we look at the total body of work.
I can tell you what Boo Kerrigan looks at. Dick pics.
Total dollar.
Hey, I'm going to say this, though, Kenny, and there could have been a 12-team playoff this year if the ACC
I know where
got
you're
off
going.
their ass and voted on that. They did hold it up. So now, will Florida State leave the ACC because some of this does go back on that conference, man?
I understand that, but if we're going by what we all agree on, we don't need a 12-team playoff. We're one of the 4. So we're right. We're right. We don't need to let 8 other teams get Democratic participation trophies. Hey, y'all come on in. We'll let you in. We were one of the 4. So we were right. Our vote was right. We don't need 8 other teams. We are one of the top 4. We just got fucked over by politics and money.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's for
to answer your question, it's been rumored that the Big 12 is where they're looking. It's all just, to me, it's just going to come down. They're going to divide the fucking country up into 4 squares, and whichever square you're in, that's what you are.
Eventually, it will
going
be.
to turn out to be. Because how long are you going to let USC travel to Hershey, Pennsylvania to play Penn State? Not very long.
Well, first off, you're not going to convince me the ACC is that much worse than the Big Ten. The Big Ten sucks. I wish we could play. I wish we could play
Hey.
Indiana. I wish we could play Indiana, Iowa. There's 3 teams in the
Purdue.
Purdue.
Hey, listen. I'm a Big Ten guy. What did I tell you guys a few weeks ago? It's terrible. It's bland.
And the Pac-12 ain't that great either. Neither is the Big 12.
No,
But you don't have to worry about the Pac-12 no more.
But I said that at the beginning. The Pac-12 has bailed the committee out every year because USC finds a way to just fuck it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you go out and get Lincoln Riley and pay him $100 million. Then you pay Caleb Williams whatever million to come play to be 8-4.
Let me
Now
ask
they're
y'all
gonna-
this. Let me ask y'all this. Do you think the same situation, let's say, and Clemson was 13-0, would they have been in the playoffs?
No doubt.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have left Dabo and Clemson out. Clemson's been hot these last few years. Remember when they were taking over? They won a championship.
But Stephen A. Smith was right too. If Deion Sanders has this job and not Mike Norvell, who's in the playoff?
Florida State. Yeah,
Damn
Florida
right.
State's
Coach
in.
Prime brings dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, look how much money he's brought into Colorado being 4-8.
Yeah.
That's a good point. But I tell you what, Mike Norvell has done a hell of a job for Florida
He's a
State.
good coach. Good coach.
I'm finally off his ass after this year. I've been wanting to come back here and coach Tiger High, this JV football program they got here, and get the hell out of Tallahassee. But I'm gonna give him a pass.
You'll give him one more year. One more year.
I'm gonna fire his ass next year, but he's all right. And hey, I don't want DJ Underwearlay, whatever his name is, that kid can stay out west or go back to Hawaii. I don't want him. Let him stay in that telephone booth portal. He's fucking terrible.
I read somewhere where his brother plays for Oregon, so he might be going to Oregon.
Good, because Bo Nix is, and that's another thing. Everybody's talking about, Oregon's got to play Liberty. Bo Nix has already opted out.
Well, Bo Nix just finished his 8th year of eligibility.
I mean, that is true. It is true.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oregon doesn't belong in the New Year's Six Bowl.
No.
He choked this past weekend.
But if you didn't take Washington to 9.5, you're an idiot.
I took.
I knew Doug was my long lost brother.
Y'all do kind of favor.
Yeah, you don't want to say that too loud though.
We're in different states. I don't have any warrants up there. Do I, Mark?
Yeah, you do.
At the Eagles.
Yeah. All right, guys. Any more thoughts on the
All right, who
playoffs?
Wins? Who's in your national title game?
Mine is Alabama and Texas.
I agree with that. They want a rematch, and it's all about that money. Saint Nick.
Earlier in the year, after Alabama and Texas played, I laid some money on Texas. But if that rematch happens, I believe Alabama's going to win because I just don't see Texas beating Alabama twice.
This is what I'm hoping.
I'm going to pull for them.
Hey, this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's Alabama and Texas in the championship game because then your champion's gonna have one loss, and I'm hoping Florida State wins their next bowl game. So they're sitting there at 14-0, and your champion's got a loss on the board. That's what I'm hoping happens.
Doug, I do too, but I'm realistic. We're going to lose to Georgia.
I can't agree with that.
We're going to lose to Georgia. I'm realistic. We'll lose to Georgia. They're phenomenal. I mean, 29 out of their last 30. You just don't, and that's with different kids every year. So you just don't beat that. And Kirby's head and shoulders above everybody.
I'm saying I'm hoping it goes that way.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I do too. But first of all, I'm not going to touch the game on FanDuel with a 100-foot pole. And secondly, I just don't think we do. But everybody says, well, we didn't want the TCU debacle that we had against Georgia, the 65-7. And I get that. But we don't have the kid Brock Glenn playing. It'll be Tate. He's got some games under him. He did hang 59 in the North Alabama game. I'm not saying he's going to do anything against Georgia, but it might be competitive. But, could we have hung with – we would have had Michigan. A Week 10 team. I love our chances with Tate Rodemaker against a Week 10 team. Love it.
It's been a good game.
Because Harbaugh's just as big an idiot as Norvell.
Well, I think what really happened is we get down to the politics of it that they knew if they put Bama in, they had to put Texas in, and the Jordan Travis debacle there, the injury to him and the bad break is what you can really call it. I mean, he got one, Florida State got one, and that gave the committee an out, and I knew right then they was going to use that.
When did they write that policy or that rule that says if any coaches or key players are missing, we have the authority to make changes? When was that?
Yeah, I don't know if that's been there since day one or not.
Well, see, that's not supposed to be a deciding factor. That's just like head to head. That doesn't mean because you beat them head to head. That matters. That's just one factor. That's supposed to be like a tiebreaker. Everything's equal. You go to conference championship. You go to record, you go to this. That's only if everything is equal. But you shouldn't use that as the deciding thing. But they did. That was their out.
It was.
They could have put Bama in, left Texas out. Texas didn't play a great schedule either. You want to look at it.
Hey, while I got the great gambling degenerates on the screen, who you guys taking tomorrow night besides the under in the Steelers Patriots game?
It's going to be. I picked the under 30. I think the over under 30.
I think it is. Let me look at it.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like
I'm
6-0.
I'm
Hey,
gonna take
it'll be Iowa against Purdue, 6-0.
There you go.
Man, you ain't
I'm going
kidding.
to take Pittsburgh in the under. But I'm going
And Pickett's out too, right?
Yeah. Bailey Zappi against Mitch Trubisky.
Trubisky.
I mean, if this just doesn't scream must we watch TV, nothing's going to.
Yeah.
They don't even need to play that game. I mean, heck.
Amazon has got to be pissed
All in
off
all.
at the amount of money they're losing.
There you
Oh,
go.
man.
Little Sherman says Bama got in because of revenue, possible $150 million difference.
That's true.
Yeah,
Way to be on top of it, Sherm.
Sherm always is. He's our number cruncher behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Y'all do have a small time budget, don't you?
You got to look who runs the show.
Hey,
I know him well, brother.
we still use green stamps when needed.
Hey, I'm in. Just send that shit my way.
Steve Brown also says the word is Bama is better. So did Texas get worse?
No,
I don't think it got worse. I just think it's
you're
hard
comparing
for
week
somebody
2
to
to
beat
week
somebody
13.
twice.
I think Bama got better.
Texas had some games where they struggled
Yeah.
too, and they didn't beat a whole lot of ranked teams. Either.
But everybody did. That's the point. Nobody just dominated.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, Georgia.
Georgia dominated to the last game.
I mean, well, no, they didn't. I mean, Missouri hung with them,
That's
I think
right.
Georgia was 3-1 against top teams this year.
and I'm not saying that as a dig at Missouri. That's how far Missouri has come. But I don't think Georgia is that juggernaut that they were last year.
Oh, no. Not,
They
no,
look very
no.
beatable
I agree
at
with that
times.
statement.
I mean, Georgia Tech. Are you fucking serious? They find cures for cancer. They lost by a touchdown.
What was Texas's second best win?
The Big 12
Money
championship game
mark
against
is tight as
Oklahoma State.
spandex.
Hey, what was Texas's second best win?
The Big 12 championship game against a shitty ass Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State, who
That got
by
beat by 40.
Central Florida,
UCF.
45-3, or something like that.
But
was?
UCF, yeah.
That was their
UCF.
second best win.
Which, by the way, if we beat Georgia, we'll be UCF 2.0. We're going to go get our own rings and call ourselves national title.
There you go. Hang the banner up. Why
Great
not?
it is.
If you beat Georgia, you could damn well better. There better be a banner hanging up.
If we beat Georgia, we're going to Houston. We're going to beat the shit out of one of those teams and play the other one. I can promise you that.
Be waiting in the parking lot. We got next.
Yeah.
Man up, baby. We got next.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Steve, that was Kansas State, wasn't it? They won by 3.
Yeah. I mean,
Steve said Texas had one close game. Look it up. I think that was Kansas State. They won by 3 points.
well, their one close game then would be a loss to Oklahoma, wouldn't it?
Yeah. They
Yeah.
didn't lose the game. Florida State didn't lose one, did they?
We did not.
I didn't think they did. I was trying to remember who beat Florida State. I couldn't
Hey, Doug, in the columns, it's W for win, L for loss, T for tie. There's not a C for close, is there?
remember. I guess not.
Nope.
We look at the full body of work here on this committee.
Well, then we should have been in that room instead of them 13 jerk-offs.
I guarantee you.
Hey, wasn't Condoleezza Rice in there?
Not this time, but she used to be at one time.
Well, that tells you how jacked up that shit is. First of all, you got a woman.
It's a
You got a
joke.
woman in there dictating a man's sport. Secondly, she's a Democratic woman. I'm not going to go into the third one because I might offend somebody, but y'all can figure that one out.
Yeah.
It's a bad joke what it's become.
Terrible.
Well, all right, Kenny, man, I appreciate you joining
Anytime
us,
you got
man.
13 people behind locked doors deciding something. That's it.
The only time I want to be with 13 people behind a locked door better be a lot of unlawful shit going on.
There you go. Hey, man, we
I
appreciate
think
you
there
joining
probably
us. So,
was in that room.
Guys, I appreciate it. Y'all be good.
Thanks,
Merry
Kenny.
Christmas to all of you. Marky, I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Merry
all right,
Christmas.
buddy.
Bye.
We'll talk to you, man.
Bye.
See. All right, guys. Our very first special guest, Kenny D. Corley. Pissed off Florida State fan there, guys, and I guess he has every right to be. If I'm a Florida State fan, I'm livid right now.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that could have happened to Mark, Josh, me, and Doug because we're LSU fans. Penn State, I mean, Mizzou. It could have happened to
Well,
you know, we've
there
been
was a
pissed off
similar-
too.
There was a similar
Nah, we're
situation.
in
with
we're in
Penn
the
State.
SEC, buddy. It wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
To us. We're in the fire.
Yeah,
We
that's
ain't,
true.
we ain't
That's
getting
true.
left out.
But
Yeah.
hey,
Hey,
a similar situation
what,
did
Nick?
happen with Penn State one time. Remember a few years back, Doug? You'd remember this. Penn State won the Big Ten championship, but because
they
they
put
lost
Ohio
to
State.
Ohio State earlier in the year, they put Ohio State in, and it was the year
Yeah,
before that.
that's right.
Urban Meyer was on record as saying, if you're not a conference champion, you shouldn't be in there. Next year,
Yeah.
Ohio State put in no conference championship. That motherfucker did. What? Who said that?
Yeah,
I
I
remember.
thought that's a crock of shit too, man.
Did Ohio State get in before without winning the championship?
Yeah, twice.
Twice?
That time.
My dad
believe-
said. My dad said we beat Southern Miss, Pitt, and North Alabama. Oh wait, that was Florida State.
Yeah. They also didn't lose. They beat Clemson ranked. They beat North Carolina State ranked. They beat LSU ranked.
So
Carolina.
who got more wins against ranked teams, Alabama or Florida State?
Alabama.
Okay.
Who's got more losses?
No,
I mean,
I think they both had 3 wins, but Alabama had a loss, and then Florida State was 3-0. I think.
I mean,
Alabama had 4 ranked wins.
Oh, did they? I thought they was 3-1.
I know y'all don't agree with it, but I think Alabama had a tougher schedule than Florida State. You know,
Yeah, okay.
well,
Yeah.
they beat the number
Okay.
1 team.
Okay, well, let's just take top toughest schedule. LSU had a real tough schedule, too. Let's put them in there.
Well, they got 3 losses. They're not in the
Fine,
top
watch them.
10. They're not even.
Losses don't matter. I think they're one of the best 4 teams. Badass offense.
They ain't one of the best 4
Hey,
teams.
no.
Now.
How are
dude,
they
you
not ahead of
crazy.
Missouri? How are they not ahead of
And you
Missouri?
can't tell me that Florida State's one of the best 4 teams right now.
How come we didn't get a New Year's Six bowl? How come we're not ahead of Missouri? We beat them head to head.
Because you got 3 losses, we got 2.
Okay, Alabama got 1 loss. Florida State got 0. We played a tougher schedule than Missouri.
Hey, you see that? Florida State can still get to the playoffs 3 different ways: Delta, United, and American.
That's about it.
Are you going to help them, Doug?
Nah, I ain't
Edwards
gonna-
Freight. Hey, they can get there by Edwards Freight, one of our fine sponsors.
That's
Edwards
gonna
Freight will
cost
take them.
That's gonna cost them a hell of a lot.
What's that phone number they need to call, Doug?
57392200002, but it's sure gonna cost you, buddy.
Edwards Freight to get you there. Hey, Josh, you got some other sponsors for us tonight. Josh been on the lookout for sponsors, and I think he's come across some. Tell us who we got, Josh.
Actually, we got a nationwide sponsor. We went out and because I noticed we had some females watching the show, so I went out and I got Summer's Eve, and something's going wrong, and that smells in your thong. Summer's Eve. When your man's in a coma, and it's from that panty aroma. Summer's Eve.
Summer's Eve.
But when that situation down south makes your man breathe out his mouth, Summer's Eve.
Summer's Eve.
Summer's Eve. Hey, thanks, Summer Eve. And what about Pinky Toe there, Josh?
Pinky Toe, we doze, but we don't close. We'll get you home whenever you need. Whether it's rain, ice, or snow, call Pinky Toe.
There you go. Manly's Meat Wagon, of course. Nobody beats our meat but us. So there's our fine sponsors for tonight. We'd like to thank each and every one of them.
Hey, we gotta
All
get Johnny
right,
to get some
guys.
homework. Johnny, you gotta get you a sponsor down there somewhere.
You need to go out and get some Cajun food on sponsor, baby. I like some alligator meat,
Oh
red beans
yeah,
and rice too, buddy.
yeah.
A2F, we got it all.
Yeah.
Shrimp
I'm
All
trying.
right,
gumbo.
guys.
I'm still trying to
Let's
get
talk
Phil
about
Jackson, but you know,
all the picks we got going on this week. We got one big game that's gonna decide probably second place, as Josh has got first place wrapped up, as he's gonna be our regular season champ. So we will now call him the champ Josh Brown.
Woo!
He has 121 points. Doug Edwards moved up the charts to number 2. He has 88 points. Johnny Grissom fell to 3rd, with Doug Edwards having a big week of 15 points, and Johnny only having 5. Got the crybaby face. He is at 84, so 4 points deciding. So that big pick for 10 points is going to decide second place. But hey, wait a minute. Mark Manley is in 3rd with 79. So if he gets 10 big points, he can move into second, as long as Doug and Johnny crashes and burns. So, should be an interesting week, guys. We got one big game on the schedule. It is Army and Navy. And, of course, we love this game every year, man. I love to see this. Josh is going to elaborate on the uniforms. Josh, what you got?
Yeah, man, I did some research, and every year, Army and Navy, every time they get together, it's always talk about what each team is representing. I just think it's awesome. So I went back and I did some digging. Um, Navy this year, they're going to be representing the Silent Service, which is the submarine force. And the color they're going to wear this year is called it's Eclipse Navy. It's the darkest shade of navy blue you can have. And basically, it's going to mimic a submarine design. The helmets are hand painted. On one side, it's going to be a Virginia class sub. On the left side, it's going to be the Navy anchor. And then on the sleeve patches, it's going to be anchored up to look like a submarine, along with the font on their numbers. And you'll notice on their pants, the pants are going to be vertical, which is going to mimic the depth on the submarine hull. So I think those are like little bitty Easter eggs that they put out as far as Navy is concerned. As far as Army is concerned, they're going back to that tan desert color, and on their helmet, here's a fun fact for you: they're going to have their mascot. Their mascot's name is Rocky the Bulldog. Anybody can tell me who designed Rocky the Bulldog?
Can't tell you.
I can.
Go
Rocky
ahead, Mark.
Blyer.
No,
Rocky Blyer.
the man, the man that designed Rocky the Bulldog was none other than Walt Disney himself.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
Hey, I got a fun fact for you. Where's Walt Disney's boyhood home?
will be in it's in Missouri.
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 Marceline, Missouri.
Damn.
Who hates how I played in the playoffs a couple years ago. I actually got to stay at the Walt Disney Theater that they turned into an Airbnb there.
Nice, nice. Yes, that's really cool about that too. But Army is going to be representing the Third Infantry, which basically was part of Thunder Run in the 2003 version of Battle of Baghdad, which was a sneak attack to go from Kuwait to Baghdad to take out Saddam Hussein at the time. So that's where the two stories of the uniforms are going to come into place. But as always, man, this is one of my favorite games in the world because it's our armed forces, it's Army Navy. I mean, don't get no better than this. It's going to be played in Foxborough Stadium. Like, it's just going to be fantastic.
Yeah, they
first
got
time.
their own. I think they're doing right because they spotlight this game, or their only game
It's
that
interesting.
weekend. So, yeah,
This
for sure.
both of these teams next year will be in the AAC. They'll be in the same conference, but this game is going to stay where it is and be considered a non-conference game. It's not going to be considered a conference game.
Correct.
But now it's possible, unlikely, but possible you could have back-to-back weeks of Army versus Navy. because let's say they both end up 1-2 and play in the AAC championship game, which is held the week before. They would play each other. Then they would have the traditional Army Navy game. So it's
Wow.
not likely, but it could happen that we could have back to back Army Navy matchups coming in the future.
Now I don't know if this guys also affects your picks or how you're going to do it, but I hope you both realize that 16 of the last 17 games it's finished under.
Hey, I got some others. This is the 100. This will be the 124th meeting. Navy leads 62-54-7. So it's been pretty tight.
Last year they went overtime and Army won by
Yeah.
The first ever overtime game in the series.
That's
was
correct.
it? I didn't know that.
My
Yeah.
dad just pointed out Audie Murphy got the Medal of Honor within the 3rd Infantry Division. So Audie Murphy, for some that don't know, is the most decorated soldier in the history.
In the
He
history
was
of America.
badass.
Yes. Hey, Josh, I was just back in May, June. Me and Savannah went to Italy, and we visited and spent a beach day there at Anzio. And Audie Murphy and Marshall Dillon, James Arness, he was wounded there, and that's why he had a slight limp. But we saw where they landed, and
No kidding.
yeah, Audie Murphy fought in that battle too. They had all kinds of flats and places where our soldiers were buried and stuff like that. Real interesting, real neat.
I love that side. I mean, I've been to D.C., I've been to Arlington, I've been to Audie Murphy's headstone, and just it's phenomenal, man. If you ever get a chance to go to Washington D.C., you must go to Arlington Cemetery.
I've been there and seen the changing of the guards.
Yes.
Man. That's
There's
awesome.
nothing like it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
All right, guys, this game featuring Army and Navy, the spread is Army -3. Over and under is 27.5. Army led by Daly at quarterback. He has a whopping 859 yards and 6 touchdowns and 6 INTs.
More than Iowa.
You know?
The Navy Academy is led by Lavati, I believe is how you pronounce it. Lavatai. He is 522 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 INTs. Rushing wise, Daly also leads the Army with 817 yards, 7 touchdowns. Navy led by Texas, 117 carries, 724 yards, and 5 touchdowns. The predictor has Army 61.7%, Navy 38.3%. Army's last 5, they beat Coastal Carolina, Holy Cross, Air Force Academy, UMass, and lost to LSU. Navy's last 5. They beat lost to Air Force, lost to Temple, beat UAB, beat East Carolina, and then lost to SMU. So common opponent there is Air Force Academy. Army winning that one 23-3, and then Navy lost to the Air Force Academy 17-5.
That's the commander.
Wow.
The commander.
You're talking about
trophy.
you talking about Iowa there. 5 points.
Still more.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to get on with our picks. With that being said, I am going to take, because I got a good buddy who served in the Naval Academy and who has since passed away. Good buddy of mine from Tennessee named Steve Andrews. I always would cheer for Navy in this game because of him. And my dad was also in the Coast Guard. Now my brothers were in the Army. So, kind of torn. But for Steve, I'm going to take Navy. Give me my 3. And believe it or not, I'm going to take the over.
Wow.
There you go, guys. That is my pick.
That's
Doug,
it.
what do you got?
Well, I'm going to go exactly opposite. My dad was a Navy man, was in the Navy in Korea, fought in Korea War in the Navy. He would probably be upset with me, but I'm going to go with the Army Black Knights. Ever since they took that whooping to LSU 62-0, they've been, I don't think they've lost since then.
You rode Army up in the season too, didn't you? You picked Army a couple games.
Picked
Your wild
Army.
card picks.
Yeah. Picked Army a couple times, so I'm going to stay with them black, not them golden, Army golden.
I looked at that.
Macho man there. But
Macho.
the Army Black Knight. I'm going to give the 3 points. And this is tough, but I'm going to go on and go over.
Hey, did I ever tell you guys why I said Golden Knights that night?
No.
1, I was Macho Man. 2, I was drinking. And 3, I was watching hockey and Las Vegas was playing.
Well, you played it off good though, because
I
you
did.
Macho Man's in heaven, so everything's golden.
Yeah, that's right. Go ahead.
Now we know the truth.
Yep.
It's got the Paul Harvey guys.
I'm taking Army in
that's
the over.
the rest of the story. Doug says he's got Army in the over.
Yep.
Here we go. Second place, baby. Doug, I agree with you, but hey, I'm going all in. Going all in this time. I'm going, I hate to do it. My father was in the service. He was in the Army. I'm going to go Navy, +3. And like the show say, Mark tells me take the under, but like the show say, take the over, baby.
Damn, you should have took the under. We had all 3 different.
Nah, I know. Oh, hell, let's just take the under.
There we go. I talked him into it. Now that little motherfucker will probably win.
Yeah, right.
I should have changed mine.
I don't care, man. It's
probably
all
17
fun, man. It's all
That's
fun.
right. That's
That
right.
hook will get us.
Yeah,
I
you got
was,
that
I'll
right.
be honest with you. I was waiting for Doug to see what he choose because I can't choose the same thing Doug choose.
Oh,
And I
if you
was
let
going
me
to
pick
choose
last,
all
I
three.
picked the same as you, buddy.
Yeah, Doug wanted to pick last today. I knew he did. That's why I said no shenanigans, because he was gonna make sure he won second, no matter what,
I got to go all in.
or at least didn't finish last.
That's the only way I can win. Navy and the under.
All right,
Well, I
well,
won't finish last because both of y'all ain't going to be right. So,
That's right.
that's why I'm going to go off of it. After watching games all year long, I love Navy's uniforms. They always look real nice. I just like the scheme of every year how they come out with it. But I have to point out Fort Sill, Oklahoma, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, Fort Carson, Colorado, Nuremberg, Germany, South Korea, the Middle East. If it wasn't for my dad, man, I wouldn't seen half of this country because of the United States Army. So I'm going to say go Army, beat Navy, and I'm taking the over, and Army will cover. And if anybody scores a touchdown this game, it's going to be Army, but I'm going to say Army wins 19-12.
Woo! You got it right there. Is that your take it to the bank moment?
That is my Summer's Eve.
take it to the bank.
Lock that twat pick.
Take that thing. Go to the bank, y'all. Take that bank.
Lock the twat pick, boy.
Hey, you know something else I thought about too about this pick? I remember Josh saying Navy sucks, man. They suck. And I said, man, I can't go with Navy because they suck.
They gave Texas a good game.
Yes, they did.
Memphis a good one,
They should have beat them.
but they only scored 5 against there.
You got that right. But listen, it's a rivalry game, guys.
That's right.
You know how it is. You know how it is.
right.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
they're
right.
gonna be
Army's
out
got
there
more
giving it their
wins
all.
this last 7 years, I think.
Hey, you know what? I mean, these guys, man, they're playing for pride, dude. They ain't playing
That's
for
right.
nothing else. They're playing to represent us, man. So
Yeah.
that's all there is to it.
There's a lot of history in this game. There was a guy back in 1893 that was told that, look, man, if you get hit in the head a certain way, it could paralyze you, it could kill you possibly. He was the guy that wore the first ever helmet in football. He had a shoemaker from Annapolis design him a leather helmet. And that's when after that you started seeing them more and more of them. Then you saw, the leather helmets, which have now evolved to we got
Right.
air conditioned helmets, we got speakers in there and everything.
Yeah.
There you go.
1893. That guy, he later became an admiral in the Navy. Name of Reeves. So
Nice.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot of
Absolutely.
history. These teams have met for a national championship before. They used to be the powers back in the day.
Well, I mean, Roger Staubach won the Heisman.
That's right.
Yeah.
There you go. Anything else? Any tidbits?
So, Doug, you got Army and over, huh?
Yeah.
Damn.
All right, we got history lessons here tonight, and what a good podcast we had. We had our very first guest, Kenny Corley, coming on, Florida
Thanks,
State
Kenny.
fan. Hey, make sure you go out and like, share, and subscribe to the Boot Hill Sports Network. A lot of good things going on. Next Wednesday, right here, we're going to have our bowl special where we will pick every bowl game
Big
there
bowl
is. So it might be a little extended Boot Hill Sports Network, I'll Take the Over podcast. Might be running into a little OT next week, guys.
That's right.
Keep Josh up past his bedtime right there on the East Coast.
It'd be worth it.
I think I think Doug used all his cheat sheets too this year.
Hey, now I just want to say that I'm in second, but I'm really in first because Josh is in the future. Josh is an hour in the future, so it's not really fair. He knows what's going to happen. I mean, it's 10:30 there.
Marty
And I'm
McFly.
here.
Oh, Marty McFly.
Check this out, Doug.
Josh, you need to change your name to Marty McFly right now.
It's not a level playing field, guys. Come on.
Hey, Doug. Check this out. He came in late, like third week, and we played already in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think something's going on. We had to start over for some reason.
Hey,
Time travel.
Hey,
He figured it
hey,
out.
he was coaching kids now. Give him a break.
Yeah,
figured-
right.
I
I
guess our
figured
boss
you'd
is a
like that
dick.
one, Josh.
Yeah, that's a good one, Doug. That's a good one, man. Golly, that's funny.
I'm in first place in the Central Time Zone, by God.
All right, guys. Until next week, this is Mark Manley. That's Johnny Grissom, Doug Edwards, and Doug's inspiration, Josh Brown. This is I'll Take the Over podcast right here on the Boot Hill Sports Network. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week right here.